everybody, it's Brooke. I am here to start a new project, sort of. I mean, it's going along with my current slow stitch covered junk journal that I'm making. I still have all of this fabric pulled out and I'm still in a stitchy mood. So while I'm making that, I'm also going to take part in a collaboration by Vintage Blend Studios, and that's Susannah, and To Be Loved Treasures by Corinne, that's Corinne, and they are making a hashtag squishy project bag. So I thought I would just pop on before I started putting it together and show you guys what I'm doing. Let me get this big box of beautifulness out of the way. So what I am doing is I purchased the pattern from Vintage Blend Studios, and I will link her down below. And it's very, very simple. You get the base piece, the side pieces, and the pocket and loop sizes. So honestly, it was, I think, $1.40 US. It was so worth it because I thought, oh, well, I could make my own pattern and make it bigger. Try to make a hexagon. It's a pain. I mean, I tried Photoshop and everything and messed around with it for a while and said, nah, I'm going to spring for the $1.40. So I will link that down below, as I said. And Susannah and Corinne both have videos about making the bags. Susannah makes it with her sewing machine. Corinne makes it by hand. And I think I'm going to do a little bit of a hybrid, a little bit of each. But at any rate, so it does say, please refer to my YouTube channel for instructions. So I thought I would tell you guys what I was going to do. I found at the thrift store the other day, I was so excited, I found heavy duty canvas. Really cool. Corinne used this when she was making rice bags. I started making a rice bag out of it. It's awesome. Look at that. Oh, it's great. I just need to make the decorative panels for the outside. At any rate, I was so excited. It was at the thrift store. They had just put it out, and I had just watched Corinne's video. So, you know, happy accidents. So I have cut out a base and 6 of the side panels from that heavy-duty canvas. And then I've also cut out 6 pieces of muslin, the same size, and 6 pieces of cotton batting. And those will be what I stitch on for the decorative outside panels. Also cut a base piece out of the cotton wadding. So let's get these out of the way. And this is as far as I got. And I thought, oh, I better turn on the camera if I'm going to share. So I'll get that out of the way. And so these are the 6 canvas panels. And I started messing around with pocket ideas, following very closely with Corinne's suggestions because, well, I think she's a baby genius. The inside lining of the bag is going to be this beautiful cream canvas. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of speckly. And then I'm just using some of the scraps of that fabric that I had, the Pioneer Woman fabric. So this first pocket, I eyeballed a rectangle, turned in the sides on all 4 sides, pinned it down, and this was a scrap of lace that was on my desk, so I just pinned that across. And I have measured and marked the center of this with my friction pen, so that can be a pen pocket. And I'll just go around and stitch that. I haven't decided if I'm going to hand stitch it or do it on the machine. The next one is a double pocket. So again, just folded all 4 sides in so it'll be finished. And, you know, it'll be a pocket here and a pocket here. Excuse me. This one is just going to be a decorative panel just stitched on. I might do some canvas stitching or something just because I think this fabric is so pretty. On this one, this is again straight from Corinne, I have a little organza bag where you can put things like your thimble, your needle threader, buttons, anything like that. And I'm going to stitch it on with that little flower there. I love pink and yellow together. And that's just a little scrap of embroidery from the slow stitching journal that I'll put on there. This is just a decorative fabric collage. Nothing exciting there. It might be exciting when I'm done. And then this was super cute. This is, again, from Corinne, a scissors pocket. So the scissors can go. These won't work. They're too big. Hold on. Got to grab the little guys. Where did I put them? Where'd you go, little guys? There, here we go. Would you believe that Mark oiled my chair all up and all the squeaks that are left are plastic pieces rubbing together? So there you go. We just have a squeaky chair. So the scissors will go in like that. Oh, I've got a pin in there. This will be stitched down, and then I've got a Velcro dot, sticky Velcro dot on the back here that will be stitched on. And you can just put your scissors in the pocket and then fasten it down with the Velcro. So I thought that was really smart. That way they won't go flying out, and if they do come unattached, they'll end up in the pocket, not in the bottom of your bag, stabbing everything. So I thought that was great. So all I did with that was I took this little piece of tape measure ribbon, folded it over. I'm going to stitch it here, and then I glued this flower on. I've got both Velcro dots on. I glued the Velcro dot to the back of that ribbon. I'll also put glue on. Actually, I take that back. I won't put glue on here. I'll use the existing sticky, but I will stitch that dot down, and I'll also stitch through the flower to secure the other piece of Velcro, because the sticky that comes on it is very, very sticky for a while, and then it's not sticky at all anymore. So that will be that, and I think it's super cute. In this pocket, again, all four sides are just turned in. Use scraps that were left over from the cover, and I will sew this down by hand or by the machine. I'm not sure which. So those are all my inside panels. Each outer panel will get stitched separately, decoratively, whatever, pockets or no pockets, and then they will get stitched to the outside like that. I like having all the scrappy little edges hanging out so it looks really interesting, and you can see all the inner guts and stuff. So I will probably do it that way. But that is where I'm going with this project. So I think what I will do is maybe go and sew the pockets on and maybe get the panels stitched together, and I'll come back and show you where I am. So hold on. It'll take me a minute, but it won't seem like any time to you guys. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and I've got all the panels done, the inside panels for our squishy bag. This is the base. I'm not sure if I'm going to put fabric over this or not. It would be really pretty when you peek in the bag to have a decorative bottom, but I'm wondering if it would make it hard to see anything that you throw in there. You know, it'd be kind of make it more difficult to identify pieces in the bag. So I'm not sure about that yet. And these are my 6 inside panels. So I've got this one, which is just decorative. And then we've got this one, which will hold pens or pencils or whatever. It's one pocket that I stitched right down the center to split it in half. This one again is decorative. Looks like some of these, I didn't get all the friction marks off. We can do that. This guy is a double pocket. So that one goes all the way down to the bottom. It's really deep. And that one just goes down that far. So you can put whatever you need to put in those pockets. Spit it out. Then we have our little scissor holder. Let me get some little scissors and show you. This is purely Corinne. This was inspired by Corinne. So the points can go down in that pocket, and then this ribbon feeds through. And there's a little Velcro dot, so that'll hold your scissors in place, keep them from flying out. I thought that was really cute. And then the last one, again inspired by Corinne, is this one. And this is a little organza bag that I stitched on, and I covered the stitches with this pretty pink daisy. And you can put things like your needle puller or thimble or little things that you don't want floating around in the bottom of the bag, and just do that and tighten it up so they don't go anywhere. And then I put a little piece of the doily down at the bottom and stitched it on. So those are our 6 panels, and we just have to decide what order we want them to go in on, on the inside, because it's going to be a hexagon. Is that a hexagon? Yeah, I think so. I think it's a hexagon. So what do we have here? We have 2 decorative and 4 utilitarian. So let's see. That should have been 3 and 3, huh? It's a decorative, that's pockets, that's that. And then those two will attach. I'm thinking out loud, and it's too wide for the camera. Those two will attach. All right, I can live with that. Do I like those? I do. Okay, so what we're going to do now is sew the panels together, right sides facing. Boy, this canvas frays like crazy. And what you want to do is just sew right down the side, but you want to stop 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. Let me see, I'll put it this way, so hopefully I get them in the right order. Okay, and leaving that little 1/4 inch at the bottom is going to make it easier to put the base piece in. So let's see, 1/4 of an inch is about right there. Move my little tiny iron because that thing gets hot. It's tiny, but it's mighty. And here's the sewing machine. You won't be able to see me sew, obviously, but you'll be able to see the result. So I'm just using the markings on my machine to do 1/4 inch seam allowance, making sure I've got those lined up nicely. And I'm going to just use a straight stitch, zoom forward, do a little back stitch, and then go straight down. Sorry if it's super loud. My machine isn't terribly loud, but who knows what the microphone picks up. So I'm just going to make sure to stop 1/4 of an inch before we get to the bottom. Because of the fraying, I'm kind of eyeballing it, hoping for the best. Now, Corinne did this part by hand. Susannah did it on the machine, so you can do, if you don't have a machine, absolutely you could do it by hand. Stuck on something, got all these crazy threads. Okay, so, well, you're not going to be able to see that because I did cream on cream, but I stitched from the top edge all the way down to that little mark I had made that's about 1/4 of an inch away from the bottom. And that's 2 of our panels sewn together. So let's grab our next one and lay that on top. Oh, you can't see. And lay it on the next panel, right sides together. Line up those edges. And yep, we've got some fraying. So again, I'm going to make a dot about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. And just go back to sewing. So I think what I will do is I will sew all these guys together and I will come back and show you what we've got. I will be right back. Don't move. Okay, guys, I'm back and it's all sewn together. Well, all except for that last seam, because now we're going to start putting the bottom piece in. It went really well. Pro tip, pin your organza bag if you're going to use one. Pin it all into the center. I meant to and I forgot, and I ended up catching it in this seam. So it's no big deal. You just go in with a seam ripper and carefully pull those stitches out and remove it and then restitch it. And my little double pocket went a little bit askew, but that's okay. It's homemade. I think it's just fine. I love it. It's going to be awesome. So now I've got I stopped at 1/4 of an inch at the bottom of each seam, and I've got my base, and I did decide to not put anything on the base so that you can actually see what's in the bag. So now what will happen is I'm going to take the right side of my base and pin it to the right side of this first panel. And I can open up, I don't know, can you guys see that? I can open up that little seam enough. So I'm just going to sew right to the very end of this first panel. Let me do that. Cream on cream, making my camera crazy. Okay, so let's get the sewing machine over here. Oop. Pulled the thread when I moved it. Whoopsie. And here we go. I know my sewing machine's making quite a shadow. Again, let me mess with the lights. Is that any better? Maybe. Alrighty, so I'm going to go straight stitch from one edge of the panel to the other side, just at 1/4 inch. Back stitching at the beginning and the end. Again, coming up to that pin. So I'll just lift my presser foot and get that out of the way. Oops. Well, that's not good. I pushed my pin down into the feed dogs. Get out of there. This is going to require tweezers. Squeezers, even. Okay, I got too close to the pin. Don't do that. Another tip. Alright, there we go. And then I dropped the pin. Great! Okay. So I'll just take those last few stitches, not steps, right up to that place where we made the seam. Back stitch. Not where we made the seam, where we ended the side seam. Apparently I can't sew and talk. Alright, let me hold this up, see if it worked. See if I can show it to you. Get these threads off. Really go watch Suzanne and Corinne. You'll get a much better tutorial. Okay, so what I've done is I've sewn right up to the edge where we put this seam in. Let's see, can you see where we put this seam in? I've now come across the panel and gone right to that seam. Okay, so we have the first side sewn on. Now I can pivot and start going on, because of that area that we left open, we can pivot that and start going down the next panel. That sounds as clear as mud. Let me do that and I'll come back and see if I can show you even better. Cream on cream. Hopefully what I'm saying is clearer than what I'm showing. I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I have now sewn the side panel, the first side panel across the base, 1/4 inch seam, right to that place where we stopped sewing the side panel, pivoted, continued going, right across the second panel onto the base to where we had our dot, our 1/4 inch stopping mark on this seam. And I'm just going to keep going. It's pivoting beautifully. It's way easier to see when you're doing it. But it's going beautifully. We're getting right into the corners. No gapping. It's going to just work out swimmingly. The corners are working out beautifully in our hexagon in the bag. So let me go back and finish all this, and I will come back in a minute. Sorry about all the starting and stopping. Okay guys, I'm back, and look, our whole base is on. Isn't it awesome? There's the base of our squishy bag. I sewed all the panels together, all the side panels with the pockets on them together, left them flat, and then just started stitching the base in all the way around, using that 1/4 inch at the bottom of every seam to sort of pivot the fabric in. Sounds harder than it is. It's not hard at all. A little fussy is all, and not even that fussy. And so now all I'm going to do, since the panels are all sewn together and onto the base, I'm just going to sew this last seam, and we will have the inside of our bag done. Kind of regretting not lining the bottom of the bag, but again, I think it probably is the best choice in terms of practicality. So I'm just going to take this seam and stick a pin in the middle, hold it together, keep me in line, and again sew my 1/4 inch seam in there. Oop, there we go. It's sliding and fighting. There we go, better. I'm going to back stitch at the top. Keep on going, and then back stitch at the bottom as well. Make sure our seam is nice and secure. Stop and take our pin out so we don't have that same problem again. Make sure the sides are lined up, and off we go. I do have the speed on my machine set pretty slow because this canvas is fraying so much. I just want to have a little more control. So I'm getting right down again to that side seam where we left the 1/4 inch opening. My dot is there so I can see where it is. Do a couple back stitches, lift my needle up, and poof. Cut that off, move that machine out of the way. And look at that. We've got our squishy bag lining. Isn't it beautiful? All our pockets, all those fun little bits. I'm loving it. And you can't even tell that this pocket came out a little wonky now that it's this way. But because of that white canvas base, you can really see the bottom. And boy, can you put stuff in here. These are all the pieces that are left for our bag. Those can all go in there. We have our pocket for our scissors right there. We have our pocket for our friction pen. I could put all the little bits of fabric that I'm going to use on the outside of the bag in here and carry it around with me that way. So I'm just thrilled. I think this is awesome. Take the stuff out of here because it's not time yet. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go away, and these are our panels, our side panels that we cut. So we've got a panel to go on the outside of each one of the sides that I will just decorate. And then they're going to get stitched on there, but they're going to get stitched on so that all the guts of the bag, the side seams and the batting and everything will show. I'm going to hand stitch these on once they're decorated because I love this raggedy edge. I just think it's beautiful. So I have 6 Osnaburg panels and 6 pieces of cotton batting, the same size, cut to the size of the side panels. So that will be the next video after I get those done, and we'll get them on there, and if we have time, we'll do the tabs as well, but that might be a 3rd video. So again, this is super fun. Highly recommend it if you have some scraps of fabric that you love. This is a great little slow stitch project to use them in, and it is the brainchild of Susannah at Vintage Blend Studios and Corinne at To Be Loved Treasures by Corinne. Here is all the info again. I showed at the beginning, but those guys are it is the brain children of those guys. It's hashtag squishy project bag, and I'll link all of that down below. So I hope you think this is fun. I hope you decide to give it a try. I'm having a great time doing it. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.